I don't want to pay the fee. It's not just me who doesn't want to pay, but if you don't pay the fee, you will be forcibly conscripted.
Some big shop owners have to pay the amount demanded. They give different reasons for demanding money, such as needing it for spending or to travel. I saw it happen.
Officials on the take have long been a scourge of the people of Myanmar. There's anecdotal evidence that since the coup, demands by police, soldiers, and civil servants for bribes, tea money, and kickbacks have become even more blatant. What follows provides a mere glimpse of a pervasive national problem, as Doh Athan explores the impact on corruption and graft on residents of Ayeyarwady Region, the vast rice-growing delta west of Yangon. Hello and welcome to Doh Athan, a podcast about human rights stories from Myanmar. It's brought to you by Fondation Hirondelle. This episode is produced by Harry. Names may have been changed to protect contributors. When Ko Tayokale traveled to Yangon from his hometown in Ayeyarwady Region in May last year, the highway bus fare was 8,000 chats. By the time the over 30-year-old grocery store owner reached the commercial capital, he had paid more in bribes than the cost of the fare. There were 3 checkpoints on the way to Yangon, and at each one, Ko Tayokale had to pay a bribe of 3,000 chats.
They mainly check the passenger buses. There are about 60 passengers on each bus, and the checks are mainly an opportunity to collect money from them. They are not about security. They check if passengers have national registration cards and travel permits, or if they have expired. They demand money. Every time the bus stops at a checkpoint, I pray that nothing terrible will happen to me.
Ko Tayokale's prayer was granted, but he still had to pay extra to facilitate his travel. To speed up the inspection process, the bus driver's attendant would collect the national registration cards, or NRCs, and travel permits of every passenger as the bus neared each checkpoint to present for checking to the armed soldiers and police on duty. Ko Tayokale was carrying both documents, but was forced to pay a bribe because he had failed to update his NRC when he turned 30. NRCs are the primary identity document for Myanmar citizens and are mandatory from the age of 10. They are renewed at 18, 30, and 45. Because of the discrimination that Ko Tayokale experiences as an ethnic Chinese, he has to send his NRC to Naypyidaw to be updated rather than have it processed at the Township Office of the Department of National Registration and Citizenship under the junta's Ministry of Immigration and Population. Ko Tayokale has heard that he can update his NRC in Naypyidaw in about 3 weeks if he pays a bribe of more than 200,000 chats. He cannot afford the bribe because his income is low and the cost of living is high. Ko Tayokale travels to Yangon about once every 2 months for work, health, or family matters. Since the regime started enforcing a long-dormant law on conscription in February 2024, Ko Tayokale has had another reason to be apprehensive at checkpoints.
I'm a young man of conscription age. I get anxious at checkpoints. I prepare myself to have answers in case they subject me to a close check and start asking questions. There's more money I have to spend after I arrive in Yangon because I need to arrange household guest registration at a ward office for an overnight stay with relatives. I have to pay a bribe of 2,000 chot to have the document processed, 4,000 chot for a full body photo, and a 2,000 chot photocopying fee.
Ko Lupio, a computer technician aged over 20, has had similar experiences to Ko Tayokale. Ko Lupio often travels to Yangon from his home in Ayeyarwady. In an indication of the pervasive fear that haunts many in regime-controlled areas, he asked that the township where he lives not be mentioned. Ko Lupio said it was common when traveling on highway buses to see plainclothes junta agents and police demanding money from passengers.
There are
mostly military personnel, police, and many thugs and their stooges in their white shirts and blue plate lounges. There are at least 10 of them in the sentry boxes and in cars parked nearby.
Prominently displayed at checkpoints are billboards listing the name and phone number of a major to whom passengers are invited to report demands for bribes. The billboards say the passengers can lodge the reports anonymously, but Ko Lupio said he doubted that action would be taken if a passenger reported having to pay a bribe.
The police and others at the checkpoints are making a fortune from bribes. If you lodge a complaint, you are just making trouble for yourself. I am reluctant to lodge a complaint because if my identity was revealed, I could face unpleasant consequences.
In common with their counterparts in other parts of the country under regime control, an overriding preoccupation of many men of eligible age in Ayeyarwady Region is trying to avoid military conscription. A corruption-riddled conscription system has created opportunities for men to pay large sums to avoid or delay military service. In Ayeyarwady, the cost of deferring military service can be as high as 10 million kyats. Ko Ye-yin, 29, has been paying up since his name appeared on a list of conscripts in Ayeyarwady's Quincout town.
At first, I paid 5,000 kyat a month. Then it increased to 10,000 kyat a month and to 15,000 kyat. Now it's 50,000 kyat in Ayeyarwady Region. In others region, it ranges from 100,000 kyat to 150,000 kyat.
Ko Ye-yin has been paying the fee since the first batch of conscripts began military training in April last year. He is a low-income earner, and paying the fee has become a financial burden.
I don't want to pay the fee. It's not just me who doesn't want to pay. No working class person wants to pay in this bad political and economic situation. We are barely making a living, but if you don't pay the fee, you will be forcibly conscripted.
Extortion by police and soldiers is rife in Ayeyarwady, as it is in other parts of the country. No businesses are immune from the predatory demands of regime forces. Go Kaung, a source close to administrators in Ayeyarwady Region, said money extorted from the owners of rice mills, restaurants, and small private businesses goes into the pockets of police and soldiers for their personal use. Go Kaung said business owners dare not argue with police or soldiers demanding money.
Some big shop owners have to pay the amount demanded. They give different reasons for demanding money, such as needing it for spending or to travel. I saw it happen. I was in a friend's shop and they came in and demanded money just like that. If it's a big business, they might demand as much as 500,000 or 1 million kyats. This is happening all the time.
Machit Sang investigates human rights violations for advocacy group Fortify Rights. She says it is important that civilians report human rights violations to trusted organizations that are compiling evidence of war crimes and crimes against humanity by the junta. Ma Chit-sang acknowledges that little can be done to ease the oppression and abuses inflicted with impunity by police and soldiers on people living in Ayeyarwady and other parts of the country under regime control.
In military council control areas, there are very few ways for civilians to get justice and to feel safe. Many of them are struggling to support themselves and their families. To deal with this situation, it is necessary to document human rights violations and share the information with trusted networks and human rights groups, as well as media organizations, to make the public aware of the abuses. Such activities involve security risks, but there are few ways for civilians to protect themselves and expose human rights violations.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Doh Athan. We would welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fundación Hirondelle with the help of our donors. You can listen to our podcasts via the Doh Athan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Telegram, and Instagram. Please tune in again for our next episode.